This story comes from a woman named Marissa. She was 27 when it happened, driving across state lines to visit her sister. It was late, close to 1 a.m. when she pulled off the highway to fuel up. She hated stopping at night, but her car was running low and the next station was 40 miles away. The place she pulled into was one of those old, half-forgotten gas stations stuck between two towns. Harsh fluorescent lights buzzing over empty pumps. A convenience store with lights still on, but no cars out front. And that strange quiet you only hear in places that should be busy, but aren't. She took a deep breath, got out, and locked her car behind her. As she started pumping gas, she kept glancing around. The feeling came out of nowhere. That prickling sense between your shoulder blades telling you you're not alone. She told herself she was being dramatic. Just get the gas and leave. The pump clicked off. She reached for the nozzle and froze. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw movement. Low movement. Something sliding across the pavement from underneath the car parked at the next pump over. Her breath caught. She turned her head very slightly and saw a man crawling out from under the car beside hers. Not on his hands and knees, on his elbows and forearms. Slow, careful, deliberate, like he didn't want the sound of his shoes scraping across the pavement to give him away. His face was down, hidden by the shadow of the car. His clothes were a dark hoodie and jeans. But the thing that hit her hardest was how practiced the movement looked. It wasn't a guy checking something under his car. It was someone who'd done this before. He crawled to the back bumper of the neighboring car, paused, then aligned himself towards her car, towards her. Her throat tightened. She didn't move. She didn't breathe. She watched him through the reflection in her window, safer than turning and looking directly. He kept crawling, closer and closer, until he was only a few feet away from the driver's side door. That's when he lifted his head, just enough to look towards her car window. She didn't see his face, only the pale line of his jaw, and the unmistakable awareness that he knew she was there, and that he wasn't surprised. He slowly got onto his knee, moving deliberately, quietly, and reached for her car door handle. That's when instinct hit her like lightning. She grabbed the nozzle, yanked it out, and jumped into the car so fast she scraped her knee on the door frame. She slammed the door and hit the lock button 3 times. The man stood up fully now. He wasn't hiding his face anymore. He grinned. Not wide, not cartoonish. Just a slow, creepy smile, like he had wanted her to see that he had been waiting for her to notice him. He stepped toward the driver's window. Marissa fumbled for her keys starting the car and threw it in reverse. Her headlights flashed across him for 1 second, just one, and she saw it clearly. He had been under cars before. His clothes were covered in dust, oil, and tiny black flecks from countless undercarriages. Like this was his method, his routine, his thing. She reversed hard, nearly hitting the gas pump behind her, then sped out of the station without looking back. Her heart was pounding so hard she felt it in her teeth. She got back on the highway and didn't stop until she reached the toll booth 15 miles away. With shaking hands, she told the attendant what she saw. The attendant listened, then leaned out of the booth and looked down the dark highway like he expected to see somebody following. He said quietly, "You're not the first person to say that. We're getting calls about a guy hiding under cars at night. Not robbing people, not breaking windows, just waiting." He swallowed. And it also happens at the same gas station. Marissa never stopped there again. Never stopped at any quiet gas station, actually. Not after that night. Because she realized something. The man wasn't choosing his victims on the road. He was choosing them in silence from underneath the shadows, waiting for the moment they were most vulnerable. and if she had bent down to pick up something she dropped, or taken a few more seconds to twist the gas cap on, he would have been right behind her, close enough to touch. If you're still watching, you're exactly the kind of person this channel is for. Hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss the next story. This story was sent in by a man named Trevor. He was 24 at the time, driving home after a late shift at a warehouse job. It was close to 2 a.m. A long, empty highway through farmland with only 2 exits in 30 miles. He'd driven it 100 times, knew every curve, every reflector post, every patch of darkness. But this time, something felt off. He didn't know why, just a heaviness in his chest, like his body sensed something coming before his mind did. The night was pitch black, no moon, no cars, just the hum of his engine and the occasional road sign flashing past in his headlights. About 20 minutes into the drive, he saw something up ahead, a van, pulled onto the shoulder, hazard lights flashing. The van was old, one of those boxy white models with no windows on the side. The hood was up, and a man stood at the front waving his arms like he was desperate. Trevor slowed. He didn't want to. Every instinct told him to keep driving, but he also didn't want to leave someone stranded in the middle of nowhere. He eased off the gas and rolled down the window halfway. The man jogged toward the driver's side. Something about him was wrong. Not his face. Trevor couldn't see it well. Not his clothes. Dark jacket, jeans, nothing strange. It was the way he moved. Too excited. Too eager. Like he had been waiting for a car for a long time. Trevor kept his foot on the brake. "You need help?" he called out. The man slowed down when he got close. He smiled, but not in a relieved way, but like he finally got what he wanted. "Yeah," the man said. "My van broke down. I just need a quick hand. Could you come take a look?" Trevor's stomach tightened. No please, no explanation, no details. Just come take a look. Something told him not to get out. "Maybe I can call someone for you," Trevor offered instead. The man shook his head too fast. "Phones don't work out here. I tried. Just come look. It'll just take a second." Trevor glanced at the van. The back doors were cracked open an inch. Not wide, just barely, but enough to see movement inside. A shadow shifting, then still. Like someone, or more than one person, was crouched inside, waiting. Trevor's heart slammed against his ribs. He kept his voice steady. "Sorry, man. I can call Highway Patrol once I hit the next exit." He started rolling his window up. The man stepped forward quickly and slammed his hand against the glass. "Don't leave." Trevor's blood ran cold. He hit the gas on instinct, the man's hand sliding off the glass as Trevor sped away. But in his rearview mirror, Trevor saw 2 men sprinting out of the tall grass on the passenger side of the road. They had been hiding there, waiting for him to step out of his car, waiting to surround him, waiting for a victim. As Trevor accelerated, the first man, the one who waved him down, ran into the road and shouted something he couldn't hear. Then he did something that made Trevor's entire body prickle. He smiled, wide, almost relieved. Like Trevor escaping wasn't a failure to him, but just part of whatever they were doing. Trevor didn't look back again, not until he reached the next exit. He pulled into a gas station parking lot, locked his doors, and dialed 911. 2 highway patrol cars were sent to check the area. A half hour later, an officer returned his call. "Sir?" the officer said carefully. There was no broken down van on that stretch of road. Trevor insisted he saw it, saw the men, saw the hood up. The officer paused. We did find tire tracks pulled off onto the grass, and footprints, a lot of footprints, but no van. Trevor didn't sleep that night, but the part that still sits with him is what the officers said at the very end of the call, just as he was about to hang up. By the way, there have been reports recently of people staging breakdowns on rural highways to rob and abduct drivers. But in every case we've responded to, the suspect moved their vehicle before we arrive. He paused. Whoever you saw out there tonight, they weren't stuck. Trevor drives that highway every weekend now, but he never stops for anyone, not even in broad daylight, because he knows people don't need help. They're just waiting for someone who doesn't see the movement in the grass. This story was sent in by a woman named Claire. She was 19 years old when this happened, driving home from her college campus for the weekend. It was one of those long, empty highway stretches with nothing around but woods on both sides. Just 2 lanes, no exits for miles, and no other cars in sight. The kind of road that feels like it doesn't end, just keeps sliding under your headlights forever. It was a little after midnight. She had her music on low, windows up, cruise control set to 65. Everything felt peaceful. Then she looked in her rearview mirror and saw a pair of headlights cresting the hill behind her. Nothing unusual at first. Cars pass, people drive late. But something about the way it moved made her uneasy. The car came up fast, too fast, far faster than people going this road normally drive. She gripped the wheel a little tighter. The headlights got bigger, brighter, closer, until the car settled right behind her. Not tailgating, but close enough that she could see the shape of the driver's head silhouetted through the windshield. She switched lanes. The car followed, instantly. She told herself it was a coincidence, maybe a sleepy driver. Maybe they wanted to pass. But they didn't pass. They stayed behind her, perfectly, exactly matching her speed. She'd speed up, so did they. She'd slow down, so did they. She moved into the right lane and flicked her blinker to take the next exit, a last-ditch attempt to shake the feeling in her chest. The driver swerved abruptly, cutting into the right lane in one sharp movement, staying behind her like they were connected. That's when the fear started. Not panic, but that steady burn in your stomach that tells you something's wrong. The exit she planned to take passed by too fast. She couldn't get off without having the car right behind her in the turn. She didn't trust them being that close, so she stayed on the highway. 5 minutes passed. 10. The car never left her rear bumper. The road stayed empty except for the 2 of them, her in front and the stranger behind her, matching her every move like a shadow she couldn't outrun. She pulled out her phone, hands shaking, and called her mom first. No answer. She called again. Still nothing. So she did the thing she had been avoiding. She dialed 911. Her voice was shaking as she explained that someone was following her, refusing to pass, mirroring her every move. The dispatcher asked if the car had tried to signal her. No. Had they flashed their lights? No. Had they pulled up alongside her? No. Just stayed behind her, locked in. The dispatcher's tone changed. It went from professional to quietly urgent. Ma'am, do not stop your vehicle. Do you hear me? Do not pull over under any circumstances. Claire swallowed hard. Yes, I won't. I'm sending units to intercept you, but it may take time. I need you to stay calm, stay on the highway, and keep your speed steady. Can you do that? I think so. The dispatcher stayed on the line. Claire kept driving. 15 minutes passed, then 20, then 30. 40 miles of highway. 40 miles of the same headlights glued to her bumper. Somewhere along the drive, the lights behind her flickered, just once. A signal? Before she could ask the dispatcher what to do, the dispatcher said suddenly, "2 state troopers are approaching from behind. They're going to pass you on your left." Claire's heartbeat thundered in her ears. 2 sets of red and blue lights appeared behind the follower car. They surged forward, roaring past both vehicles. 1 trooper got in front of Claire. 1 stayed behind the car, tailing her. The dispatcher told her calmly, "Stay in your lane and do not stop until you're instructed." The troopers slowed down, boxing the follower car between them, forcing it to brake. Eventually, they got the driver to the shoulder. Claire watched the scene shrink in her rearview mirror until she lost sight of it entirely. She was told to take the next exit and wait at the gas station with her doors locked until an officer met her. When the trooper finally arrived, he asked her only one question. "When did you first notice the car behind you?" She told him everything: the speed, the lane changes, the matching movements, the 40 miles of fear. The trooper listened quietly, then sighed. "We've been tracking that car for weeks," he said. "We believe the driver has been following lone female motorists on the highways. Never made a move, never confronted anyone, just followed, and kept following." Claire asked him the question she'd been dreading. What did he want? The officer stared at her for a moment before answering. "We don't know, but when we pulled him over tonight, he refused to get out of the car, just kept staring at your vehicle driving away." She felt her stomach twist. The officer continued, "And Claire, this is the part I don't want to scare you with, but you deserve the truth." He paused. "When we asked him why he was following you, he said he wasn't following you." She frowned. "What? Then who?" The officer closed his notebook. "He said he was following the person in your passenger seat." Claire froze. There's no one else in the car. She had driven alone the entire night. No passengers, no hitchhikers, no shadows. Just her. The officer must have seen the look on her face because he added quickly, "He's not well. We think he's delusional." But Claire couldn't stop thinking about that moment. The way the follower car matched her every move. The 40 miles of lockstep precision. The refusal to pass her or pull alongside her. Like he wasn't watching her. He was watching something he thought was sitting next to her. She never drove that stretch of highway again. Not at night. Not alone. And no matter who rides with her now, she always checks the passenger seat twice. Thanks for watching. If you have a true story, send it to acestruestories@gmail.com. If you have an idea for a future video, leave a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, there's always another story.